The last movie we talked a little bit about Keynesian economics and what the goal of it was. The goal of it was to give good, steady growth and to help actually better than classical economics spread the resources and the wealth among more people to make it even more accessible. So let's talk about how that would work. If you remember this chart before, we talked about how there's a good, steady growth. That's kind of the equilibrium growth, the perfect growth. But however, in actuality, growth kind of happens like this. In cycles. Sometimes things are good, sometimes they're worse than they should be. Sometimes it's bigger bumps than other times. What Keynesian economics is trying to do is trying to smooth it out so that there's good steady growth, so there's not as big bumps. So maybe the bumps only happen like this and actually reflect more the equilibrium price. Well, this is how he proposed that we do it. They said that government can somehow control the money and the resources to help it slow down when it's getting too big. So actually slow things down when a bubble is forming. So slow down bubbles, I'll put that. But he also, if there's a dip, help encourage business when there are dips. So this is what government will do. There's a couple options that it can do. The first option is stimulus. We've heard a lot about that in the news recently, so hopefully you know that. What happens is when it gets down here and things are too low, well, hopefully classical economics, the invisible hand, will help correct it. But if it's a big dip, it takes the invisible hand kind of a while to do that. You know, if we have a big depression or recession, sometimes it takes long for the invisible hand to kind of correct things and make the economy good again. So, what Keynesian economics suggests is that when there's big dips, the government should spend more. Because what happens if there's big dips, the people get too afraid to spend. They think they should save because they're worried about the future when things are getting bad. So the people stop spending, and when they stop spending, that makes it even worse because more companies go out of business. So he says it's government's job when things aren't going well to put some money in there, to put a stimulus money in there, to kind of get things moving again. And America has tried this many times. And he did that on a basis what he called the multiplier effect of money. Multiplier effect. And the multiplier effect is simply this. If I have a dollar bill and I spend it, $1 bill and I spend it, I have made $1 worth of use out of it. But then what if the next person spends it? He's also made $1 of use out of it. What about the person after that? And every time that dollar bill is spent, it's made another dollar in the economy. So that idea of the more you spend money, the more there is in the economy going. If I spend $10, I've added $10 to the economy. But the person that I gave the $10 to, if he spends it, he adds another 10. So the more you spend it, the more you spend it, that multiplier effect. So that's why he says sometimes you just need to give money out. You need to start spending a lot of money just to get that multiplier effect started. That's what they can do if there's a dip. So if there's a dip, one of the things they can do is do a stimulus. Now, there's one other very important thing that happens all the time and very regularly that we're going to talk about that the government can do to help kind of stop these bubbles. And that has to do with the Federal Reserve Bank, which we're going to talk a lot about. And the Federal Reserve Bank is what we're talking about in the next movie.